Hello students, welcome to your channel Sabish English Classes. I hope you'll have good there. And today I have picked up this book referee again, and from this book, which is from ISC board for the students of 11th as well as 12th standard, I have picked up this fourth poem, that is The Gift of India, which has been written by Sarojini Naidu. So I will explain this poem in detail today. Now, Sarojini Naidu had been a freedom fighter as well as a politician, and she has played a great role in preserving India and its culture, its values. And we can see that in a number of lyrical poems that she has written. For example, in her one of the poems that is in the bazaars of Hyderabad. That is a poem which is well known and will describes the place where she herself was born, and she has very beautifully described the bazaar of Hyderabad in that poem, which is praiseworthy when you go through the poem and you get to know how we have got a number of such things in our India that you will not find anywhere else in the world. And you come to this conclusion that however foreign goods may be very good as well as cheap, but they can never be a replacement of Indian goods. And this was something Sarojini Naidu at that point of time wanted to convey as a message from her poem in the bazaars of Hyderabad that she had written. Actually, in that at that point of time, it was happening that the Britishers were controlling India, and they were trying to drain out the wealth of India as well as the raw materials of India, and they used to manufacture the final finished goods in their own native place, and then they would sell those products in India, and this is how India's raw materials would be drained out, India's wealth would be drained out as well. So, India had been suffering in all the ways and was also losing its culture and values as a result. And at the same time, the manufacturers in India and the small industries in India had been suffering. So, to preserve all that, Sarojini Naidu wrote this poem in the bazaars of Hyderabad. That seems to be very simple in words as well, but it conveys a very beautiful and a very great message. So, this Sarojini Naidu, who had been given the title of this Nightingale of India by Mahatma Gandhi. She was given this title of the Nightingale of India just because she has written a number of lyrical poems, and those lyrical poems are as beautiful and melodious, as sweet as the voice of Nightingale. And that's why she was given the title of the Nightingale of India by Mahatma Gandhi. So, here we see this particular poem, The Gift of India, is again sharing the same theme that her other poems carry, and that theme is somehow the theme of patriotism. So, if we see the other poems of this Sarojini Naidu, then when we see in the bazaars of Hyderabad, or there is one more poem that she has written and is there in ICSE board syllabus as well at present, that is the Bengal Sellers. So, the Bengal Sellers in the bazaars of Hyderabad, The Gift of India, all these poems have got one thing in common, and that is the theme of patriotism. That is somehow the feeling of patriotism which was there in the heart of Sarojini Naidu, and that is very well reflected in all the poems that she has written, because at that point of time she herself had been the witness of the control of the Britishers and how they were trying to torture Indians, and they were also ruining India. So all that had been witnessed by her, that used to inspire her a lot to write the poems that would try and build up the theme of patriotism in the people. So here also you will see that thing, and let us see the poem now. So, The Gift of India by Sarojini Naidu. First of all, let us understand that this poem was written in 1915. Now, there is something historical related with this year. Actually, World War One had taken place from 1914 to 1918. And 1915 is a year in the mid of it. That means it was that particular year when World War One was going on. So we can understand that this poem has also got something to do with that World War One. Actually, this poet Sarojini Naidu has tried to portray you the pain of India as a mother at that point of time in 1915, when Indian soldiers were being sent by the Britishers to different parts of the world to fight, to face war on their behalf. So it was Western agitation that had victimized Indian soldiers. Indian soldiers were compelled to go on behalf of the Britishers because India was under the control of the Britishers. And the Indian soldiers had to go and play their role in those wars that were actually benefiting the Britishers. So, in the World War One in 1915, it was written. This poem was written in 1915, and it was a time when World War One was going on. So we will get to learn that Indian soldiers had also played a great role in the World War One, which is not very much conspicuous or markable in the history, and therefore Sarojini Naidu played her part to ensure that they are also remembered by the word that they played a great role as well in that war. So here we see that this poem has been written by Sarojini Naidu from the perspective of India as a mother. That means when we read these lines, it seems to us as if these lines are simply the words of India as a mother. So you will be able to correlate the pain of a mother, the emotion of a mother from these lines. Let us start. So, is there aught you need that my hands withhold? Rich gifts of raiment or grain or gold? Lo, I have flung to the east and the west priceless treasures torn from my breast, and yielded the sons of my stricken womb to the drumbeats of the duty, the sabres of doom. So beautifully, Sarojini Naidu has described from the perspective of India, एक माँ की तरह, as a mother. India is saying, as a mother, that a mother can never ask for rich gifts of raiment, that is clothing, or grains, that is food grains, or gold, that means something in the form of ornament or precious metals. That means a girl may have a lot of dreams and desires for a number of things, but then, as soon as a girl becomes a mother, then her eventual ultimate dreams and desires are always related to her sons, to her children, to her daughters, and not to anything materialistic. So, here India is saying that, do you think so? Is there ought? Ought means should. Do you think that it should be the need of mine? It should be the desire of mine? Do you think that my hands would love to obtain or withhold or capture the rich gifts of clothes or grains or gold, that is ornaments? That means, as a mother, India was also not at all desirous of holding anything materialistic, whether it be rich clothes or rich, you can say, edibles or rich ornaments or precious metals. India did not want any such thing, any materialistic thing, but her sons. Why? Because India, as a mother, had the desire to keep her sons to her bosom. Lo, I have flung to the east and the west. Look, so unwillingly and so helplessly, I had to I had to let go my sons to the east and the west. That means to different directions of the world, as per the commands of the Britishers. Priceless treasures actually refers to the Indian soldiers. And here also this title, The Gift of India, refers to those Indian soldiers who were the treasures of India and whom India sent for the Britishers to face the war. So इंडिया इज सेइंग दैट प्राइसलेस ट्रेजर्स नो अनमोल मेरे लिए जो बहुत कीमती थे the ones who were priceless treasures for me, they were torn from my breast. That means while they were close to my bosom, the Britishers just snatched them away. They simply, torn them from my breast. That means, torn word is actually showing the helplessness of India at that point of time and the compulsion that the Britishers had made upon India to send those Indian soldiers on their behalf to face the war in different parts of the world in the World War One. So India is saying ki how helplessly I had to face that when my sons were being driven away and yielded the sons of my stricken womb. That means as if I was helpless and my womb was stricken. It was torn, and my soldiers' sons were simply taken out from there, and they were yielded or surrendered to those places, to those battlefields, places of battle or the battlefields, to the drum beats of the duty. That means they were surrendered to the drum beats of the duty. They were obliged to go, and they were obliged to do that duty of the drum beats. That means it used to happen at that point of time that the drum beating used to be the signal of initiating the war from one party, and then the other party was supposed to come to the battleground as well. The sabers of doom. That means to that battlefield where it was not known whether the person would get back alive or would die. So here, India as a mother is saying, gathered like pearls in their alien graves, silent they sleep by the Persian waves. Scattered like shells on Egyptian sands, they lie with pale brows and brave, broken hands. They are strewn like blossoms mown down by chance on the blood brown meadows of Flanders and France. Can you measure the grief of the tears I weep, or compass the woe of the watch I keep? So we see that India has compared Indian soldiers with pearls, with flowers, like generally a mother does. Gathered like pearls in their alien graves. Alien graves is foreign graves. Gathered is collected or accumulated. Like pearls means मोतियों की तरह. किसी भी मदर को अपना बच्चा हीरा मोती यही सब लगता है. So India as a mother was also feeling the same, that her sons, her Indian soldiers, were like pearls gathered in those foreign graves. Scattered means it was strewn, it was scattered, was spread like shells on Egyptian sands. So try to understand here in these both the lines, there is a figure of speech used called simile. I have already told you about simile in other poems, video lectures also. Simile is a figure of speech where a comparison is made by using the word like or as. So here we see that India is comparing Indian soldiers with the pearls by using the word like. That means they are as precious as pearls, and they are lying in their foreign graves just because they must have died there while fighting in the foreign place, in the foreign battleground. Here, then India is saying that they are scattered like shells. Shells again are precious. That something that is found in the sands, and it is considered as something precious. So whether it is pearls or shells, they are something precious. So they are scattered like shells on Egyptian sands. Some of them must be scattered or spread or strewn where on the Egyptian sand like shells. That means again very precious. They lie. They again refers to the Indian soldiers with pale brows. Pale brows is like yellowish face. Why yellowish face? Because they must have been so you can say they must have undergone such a torture while fighting, while facing war, that they turned pale. So with pale brows, still they are looking brave. Broken hands, their hands are broken. Their face looks pale, but still they look brave because they faced war till their last breath bravely. So they put up a brave fight. They are strewn like blossoms worn down by chance. Some of them must be strewn or spread or scattered or lying like blossoms. Again, a figure of speech simile. Blossoms are flowers. They must be lying like flowers. Worn down is crushed by chance. That means because it was a world war. So many dead bodies must be lying there. But Indian soldiers, India as a mother is thinking that Indian soldiers must be lying like beautiful flowers. But then they must be so huge in number, the dead bodies lying there, that people must be passing by crushing them like the flowers are crushed. So they must be mown down by chance. So, on the blood brown meadows of Flanders and France. Now, blood brown meadows actually refers to the grassland. And blood brown, why? Because that soil must have turned brownish, blood brownish, that is reddish brown. And why reddish brown? Just because it is now mixed with the blood of those soldiers, and they must be lying on the places on the lands of Flanders and France. Names of the places. So, India as a mother is saying this to you rather in an interrogative way. That means putting forth a question. Can you measure the grief of the tears I weep? Can you imagine? Can you understand? Can you comprehend the grief? That means the pain of the tears I weep. Means, can you realize or can you make out the measurement of that pain which I undergo? Or compass means again measure or realize or understand. The woe is sadness or sorrow of the watch I keep. Watch is vigilance. That means, like it happens with a mother, if her son goes out and is somehow in trouble outside, then the mother's watch will continuously be upon the threshold or the entrance, waiting for her son to come back. In the same manner, India, as a mother, had continuously kept her watch or vigilance upon the threshold or entrance and waiting for her sons to come back, although she was not sure whether they would come back or not. So, it's saying that can you measure that? Can you compass that sorrow with which I have kept a watch or vigilance upon the threshold? I am waiting, but so unsure whether they would actually come back or not. So, this was in the form of a question put up by India as a mother. I have been repeating it as a mother so that you can understand that India was feeling that from the perspective of Sarojini Naidu, these are the emotions of India as a mother for her soldier sons who had been sent. So, or the pride that thrills through my heart's despair, and the hope that comforts the anguish of prayer, and the far sad glorious vision I see of the torn red banners of victory. Or can you understand that pride that thrills through India's heart as a mother? So, India is saying that neither can you understand my pain, nor can you understand that mixed feeling of joy as well as pain. That means India is feeling sad as well as happy. Sad about losing her sons and happy about their bravery. So, India is saying that can you even understand that pride that I feel, that thrills through my heart? Heart's despair means hopelessness. That means, although I'm hopeless about their return, about their coming back to India, but still I'm happy to think that they must have put up a brave fight and must have made India feel proud there. So, India is saying, कि, can you understand my mixed feeling of proud as well as sadness? Right? Pride as well as sadness. And the hope that comforts the anguish of prayer. That means, can you also understand that hope which helps me to pray for my sons to come back? Anguish of prayer means pain of prayer. Means while praying for them, I feel painful because I'm not sure whether this prayer of mine will be answered or not. But this prayer gives me some comfort because it helps me to gain that assurance, that hope that they may come back. So, and the far sad glorious vision I see. Here again a figure of speech has been used which is called oxymoron. Oxymoron is that figure of speech when two completely contrary words come together in a single line. As we can see here, far sad glorious vision. So sad is a word which means which is negative in its tone, in its meaning, and glorious is a word which is positive in its meaning as well as in its tone. So, how can these two words, one is negative, however, another is positive in its meaning, can come together? Means, how can one be sad if one is feeling happy and glorious? And how can one be happy and glorious when one is feeling sad? Here, it is coming together. India is saying, far sad, glorious vision. That means the vision which India as a mother can see, the imagination of India as a mother for her sons who are fighting in the foreign places. India is imagining or vision, is having that vision as a far, sad, glorious one. So far because it is at distance, because it is happening in the foreign place. That's why India is saying that it is a far vision. But sad and glorious. So, how sad and glorious? Sad just because India, as I just told you, is sad to think about their death and that they might never come back and India would lose her sons. Glorious just because India is happy to think that her sons would make her feel proud by putting up a brave fight. So, as I just told you, that is why it is a mixed feeling of India, mixed emotion as a mother, the emotion of both happiness as well as sadness, sadness for losing, happiness for feeling of pride that Indian soldiers are giving to India. So, here that's why India uses these two words together, sad, glorious vision I see, and this is the figure of speech called oxymoron. Of the torn red banners of victory. That means India is saying, can you imagine? Can you understand? Can you exactly feel what I am feeling? Right? India is saying this. Now, what is India feeling? India can see that vision of the torn red banners of victory. Now, try to understand this also. Red banners of victory. Now, red color is a symbol of victory as well as a symbol of danger, and it is also symbolizing bloodshed here. So, red banners of victory, that means Indian soldiers are also coming out victorious. So, that can be visioned or seen or imagined by India. But torn red banners. So, India as a mother can see or can imagine, can envisage those banners of victory of Indian soldiers, but those red banners are symbolizing red in color as a victory and red in color because that victory is full of bloodshed, and that's why the banners are torn. Torn means they are actually a symbol of victory, but such a victory which is not giving complete happiness. That's why the banners are torn. And why is it not giving complete happiness? Because India has lost her sons while fighting. No, they died. So India has eventually lost her sons. So India is neither completely happy nor completely sad, but has got that mixed feeling. When the terror and the tumult of hate shall cease, and life be refashioned on anvils of peace, and your love shall offer memorial thanks to the comrades who fought on the dauntless ranks, and you honor the deeds of the dauntless ones, remember the blood of my martyred sons. Now, this is the request of India as a mother to the world in these lines. When the terror and tumult of hate shall cease, means when this war will come to an end. When this terror and tumult is all the torture and the terror that has been spread across the world due to the war, when it comes to an end, when hatred comes to an end, when war comes to an end, and life be refashioned on anvils of peace. Refashioned means reshaped. Now, what is anvil? Anvil is actually that particular object which is used to shape a particular metal. That means, on that object, a metal that has to be shaped is kept and then it is hammered. So, here, anvils is referring to that object. Why? Because life has to be refashioned now or reshaped now, and it has to be reshaped on the anvil of peace. That means it has to take the shape of peace now, serenity or peace. So why? Because it has already been undergoing that war and all. So India is saying that when this war comes to an end and the life in the world gets reshaped into peace or serenity, then your love shall offer memorial thanks to the comrades, means companions, those soldiers actually, who fought on the dauntless ranks. Dauntless is bravely. And you honor the deeds of the dauntless ones. Dauntless again means brave. Remember the blood of my martyr sons. So, when life gets refashioned, when the war is over, when there is a lot of peace in the world, and when it's time to pay tribute and to give reverence or respect or honor to those brave soldiers who had put up a brave fight, then this is the request of India as a mother, like a mother, continuously asks something for her sons or daughters, or does something for her children, till the last breath. She doesn't want anything for herself but for her children. So, India as a mother is asking for her sons that they should be given that tribute as well, like other brave soldiers. They should be given that love, they should be given that tribute, that honor when other soldiers are honored. So, since Indian soldiers had not been able to be conspicuous or noticeable in that history, in that war, however, they had played a great role. That's why Sarojini Naidu had ensured it, even beforehand in her poem, that they should be getting the desired honor like other soldiers when the world recognizes their identity and give them reverence and honor and tribute. Then also the blood of Indian soldiers who were martyred, who had died while fighting, their blood should also be remembered and they should also get that desired honor. It was a request of India as a mother from the perspective of Sarojini Naidu, you know, that she had written this poem. So let's do a quick revision of this poem now. This poem, as we just read, is all about uh, India's sorrow, India's sadness as a mother. Sarojini Naidu has written this poem from the perspective of India as a mother, expressing her sorrow and her sadness as a mother for her Indian soldiers who had been sent to different parts of the world during the World War I. This poem was written in the year 1915 by Sarojini Naidu, And we know that the year 1915 was the year when World War One was going on. So, Sarojini Naidu ensured by writing this poem that Indian soldiers who had put up a great fight and who had lost their lives while fighting should also get the recognition and identification when this war gets over and peace spreads around the world. Then, when all the dauntless and the brave soldiers are recognized and they are paid tribute and they are given the desired reverence and honor, then Indian soldiers should also get the desired reverence and honor for shedding their bloods and for having died while fighting. And therefore, Sarojini Naidu wrote this poem from the perspective of India as a mother and made India request to the world that Indian martyred sons should also be remembered for their bloods when life gets reshaped into peace and when the world recognizes the deeds, the honorable and brave deeds, dauntless deeds of the soldiers. At that point of time, Indian soldiers should get their position as well as the reverent ones. So, this was actually the theme of the poem and the main request of India to the world, or you can say Sarojini Naidu's request to the world for Indian soldiers. And this is how the poem comes to an end. I hope you understood the poem. If you have actually liked the poem, please click like and subscribe to the channel, please. Thank you so much for watching.